Love is a happy thing, and happy things are happening to me. Love is a happy thing, a groovy light, and it's feeling like feeling fine.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ooh,
I'm ready.
spicy. Hi.
Hello. Hi. Welcome back to Between Us Only. I'm Andrew. Are we going to quit doing this? Are we going to quit introducing ourselves at some point?
No.
Okay.
I'm Michelle.
This is Michelle, my wife, my beautiful, sexy, amazing wife.
Aw.
So we wanted to talk about today about our Swedish wedding.
Yeah. Before then, do you want to go over anything? Do you want to end with the wedding, or do you want to start with the wedding?
I think we should just let's talk about the wedding. I feel like we've just been
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
Because remember originally when we first
When you promised everybody in episode 1.
Yeah, but remember like way back when we did like a test run for our podcast in our
Yeah,
apartment
a year ago.
and we talked about the wedding and it was so good.
Yeah.
It was really
We should
good.
dig up. I still have that episode.
Yeah, I don't remember what we said exactly, but I remember it was good. But I'm going to let you start it off.
I'm going to start off. Well, we already talked about you proposing on my birthday,
Yes.
which some people commented about and said, what? He
Were they mad about
proposed
that?
to you on your birthday?
Well, I'm really bad with dates. I don't believe in numbers, so I thought I would just knock out two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Honestly, I couldn't care less what date you proposed on, and I'm just happy that you remember our proposal date.
Mm-hmm.
So-
June 24th.
Yeah.
The only birthday that I remember.
Not even his own.
This is true. Was that last year or the year before when
That was last year.
I thought I was turning 33 last year
Yeah.
and I was like
It was so sad.
Michelle was like, "Why are you so bummed?" And I was like, "Fuck, I'm fucking turning 33." I was like, "This sucks." And she's like,
I was like, you're turning 32. And he's like, I have another year as 32.
I was so stoked. It didn't work this year. I actually did turn 33, unfortunately. All right.
33 is a good age, though.
Yeah. No, it is. No, this is going to be I think I'm going to kill it in my 30s.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah. But I'm going to let you start off talking about the wedding, and then I'll just interrupt you and jump in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where to start? When we started planning the wedding, I instantly wanted to have the wedding in Sweden.
Of course.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I don't know. I always imagined myself getting married in Sweden, like on in the countryside, and I took a lot of inspiration for our wedding from my brother's wedding. He got married on my parents' vacation house.
Mm-hmm.
On the docks by the Baltic Sea, and I thought that was the most amazing wedding I've ever attended. And I talked to them and I asked them, is it okay if we get married on the same spot and everything? And
Ours was a little bit different, though. Same
It
area,
was-
but up on the rocks.
yeah, so we weren't exactly the same, but I was just like, is it okay if we do a pretty similar wedding?
Yeah. It's such a beautiful, serene place in the world.
It is.
It's
magical.
Yeah, it's almost unreal. Like I
And
remember
you have the docks by the Baltic Sea, like you have the big rocks that you can stand on. You have bunch of fields with flowers.
the cows that act
You
like
have
dogs.
Cows. You have where we had the reception is more like foresty.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big. I'm gonna come to that, but it was just like there's so many nice areas, and then also a big factor why I wanted to get married in Sweden is because during the summer, because I want a summer wedding, we have those super long days.
Yeah.
So I was like, that means that by the end of the night at midnight,
We went swimming in the Baltic Sea at
we're gonna get there.
Okay.
But you're just jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
But a big reason why I want to get married in Sweden too is because like you have those never-ending sunsets that last for hours and hours, and I planned most of it, I would say, because like it was not easy for you to plan.
Well, I just didn't know anyone to call in Sweden.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, like our wedding was not stressful.
No.
The most stressful part of getting ready for the wedding was when we flew to Sweden.
Yeah.
Because Ellie,
I also want to say, like, yes, our wedding wasn't stressful for us because we weren't even there when it was like being planned. I know my mom was very stressed out at point because like I was relying a lot on her and I was relying a lot on my bridesmaids that lived in Sweden to do things. And my brother and like my whole family, like they helped out tremendously with the whole wedding. And like just the fact that my mom flew to LA a few days before we were flying just to fly back with Ellie and help us with the dogs and everything.
Yeah. My also just like since we're gonna kind of start at the beginning is like the only people that came from my side of the family was my mom and my uncle Chris and my aunt Christine, and they flew directly from like Tacoma, Washington. My aunt and uncle, they flew directly from Tacoma, Washington. But my mom flew down because we went to Sweden like a month before the wedding. My mom flew down to LA.
No, we went to Sweden like 10 days before the wedding.
10 days before the wedding, but we stayed for a month.
Yeah, we stayed for a month.
But,
so we stayed like 3 weeks
after. But my mom is terrified of heights, terrified of flying. Like she's afraid to go over big bridges in Spokane. Yeah. So the last time she was on an airplane, I think she was like
1.
Yeah, she was about 1, and she was flying from Southern California with her family back to move to Spokane, Washington. But yeah, she was like the last time she was on an airplane, she was 1 year old, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, so she.
Wait, baby, hold on. Can you flip your headphones?
Are they wrong?
Yeah, they have a left and right side.
That doesn't. Okay. But she flew from Spokane to LA by herself. She was terrified. She made friends with everybody on the airplane.
I mean, we told her too. We were like, tell the flight attendant that you're scared of flying, and they will be there and like keep you calm and help you in any way possible they can.
And then we had to deal with getting Ellie's paperwork all ready. And the way that works is when you're filing all that, you have to file it at a certain time period, which is like, it's like a week before you end up flying out, and you have to mail it in, and then you have to get it notarized, and then you have to get it mailed back to you. And it's like this whole process. And they sent it to the UPS office, or the UPS, the place that we were going to pick it up at, and it was saying it wasn't going to get delivered us till the next day after we were supposed to fly out.
Well, and I mean, if you're going to go for that whole story in the beginning, the whole process of getting the
I'm going to talk. I want to talk about how that was the most stressful part of our wedding. That really was that was the most stressful part, and it wasn't even our wedding.
But to explain that part is. You go to the vet. You were there for like 3 hours to check Oliver and Ellie out. And then the vet signs all the papers. They ship that to San Francisco. Yeah. They have to get it notarized and like accept the request of flying out the animal. And then once they accept that, they have to mail it back to you. Not email it, mail it. And once it's being like confirmed or like approved, you have 10 days to leave the country. Yeah. So when you schedule this whole process, you have to schedule it thinking that you need to get the papers before 10 days before leaving the country. And the thing that we did wrong here is I let the vet schedule that, and they scheduled it so close to the fly out date. Yeah. And this was during June. It got approved June 18, I think, or something, or June 17th.
Yeah.
And then it was supposed to be delivered on June 19th, but June 19th is a holiday, so everything was closed. And it was like a long weekend or something. And we were flying out like on the 20th or 21st.
Yeah. But what happened was, so we were tracking it. We saw that it showed up at the UPS office place.
Yeah.
And we called them.
It said it was supposed to be delivered, but then they changed it. Like, oh, it's gonna be delivered on a later date.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we were like, absolutely fucking
yeah,
not.
like we couldn't. If we would have waited, we would have missed our flight.
It was supposed to be delivered the day before my mom was flying out.
Yeah. So anyways, what happened was they were telling us it was going to be delivered on too late of a date, and so we drove down to the office, and the lady was like, oh, well, it's in one of our shipping containers, we can't get to it till tomorrow. And I literally I was like, either I'm going back there and grabbing it, or you're going to get someone to do it, because I was like, we have gone through too much shit to have to cancel everything that we've been planning for. But she ended up being super nice. She got someone to go back there and do it. It was a hassle, you know.
It was.
But we got the paperwork.
Well, the thing was too, like they were like, no, you're not getting the paper, blah 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 blah, and then we were there for like 2 hours back and forth, calling everybody and anybody, calling USPS like head offices, everything.
Yeah.
And we're like, how do we get these papers? Like, we need to get these papers.
Yeah.
And after like 2 hours, they were like, okay, here is the paper. And we were so happy. I was calling my dad in Sweden. I was like crying on the phone, being like, oh my God, we got the papers. And this was like 3 hours before we had to be at the airport.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. It was crazy. And then
not that we had to be, but my mom had to be at the airport to fly out with Ellie.
Yeah.
And then I grabbed the papers. We went home. We started like packing everything up to drive my mom, or so I could drive my mom to the airport. And then we get home. We open the envelope, and it's only Ellie's papers. And we were like, "Where's Oliver's papers?"
I completely forgot.
And
about
we were
that.
like, "Wait, what the fuck? Where is Oliver's papers?
Yeah.
We need to have Oliver's papers because Oliver was flying out with us the next day."
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, at least we have Ellie's papers.
Yeah.
I'm driving my mom to the airport. I'm on the phone with USPS again, all the way to the airport. I drop my mom off. Everything works fine. They fly out. No issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, I'm on the phone with USPS, and I'm just crying on the phone with them. I'm just like, I am so stressed right now.
Even my mom like talked to them.
Oh,
my mom was like, this is their wedding. They've been planning for this all
like,
year.
My daughter-in-law is so distressed. And I
Yeah.
was like, she's pulling that card. I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're like, okay, we found the paper. You can come and pick it up. Yeah. So I went straight from the airport back to USPS and picked up the paperwork. And I was like, and I called Andrew, and I was like, I fucking got the papers. And I was so excited.
Yeah. And then
But that was such a hassle. And I was like, I never want to schedule it this close up until the wedding.
And pretty much every time we take the animals to Sweden, it's been a nightmare. So it's not been easy once. So I definitely don't recommend it.
We've done it twice, and it was a nightmare both times.
Yes, yeah.
In different ways.
Which I don't want to get into right now. So that was kind of the start to our trip to Sweden to get married. But the reason I want to go back to this point and talk about it is, like, for me, a lot of my family, they said they couldn't go, obviously, because it's a really big trip and it's expensive, and my family doesn't have a lot of money, and it's a big
commitment.
Yeah. But for my mom to be there, like, I remember she was, there's a hummingbird right there that just flew by.
Say hi to your grandma.
My grandma loves hummingbirds. Hello, grandma. No. But
that's funny, because you remember when we were sitting on the balcony with your mom,
and
she was talking about how hummingbirds are your grandma.
Yeah.
And then a hummingbird comes by, and we just sat there like crying.
Yeah. I called my mom, and I was like, because she almost wasn't gonna go. She's literally terrified of heights. Like, so flying, the last time she flew, she was 1 year old. I pretty much just told her, I was like, Mom, I need you to be there, like, at my wedding. Like, if this is the only thing I ever ask of you, like, I need you to be there. And so the fact that she flew down from Spokane by herself was like a huge thing, and I'm so appreciative for that. And then when we flew and then she jumps right into flying across the ocean, which
12-hour flight.
She started crying when we took off. She was pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
But
she was sitting in between us.
Yeah, but I'm so proud of her, and this was like a once in a lifetime trip. Like, I got to spend a whole month with my mom, and we got to travel around Sweden, and we got to see all these amazing things, and it was just like it just so many great memories with her, and I'm just really proud of her, and like really happy that she was able to make that, because she was the one person that I wanted her to walk me down the aisle, you know, like I wanted her to be there with me.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you, Mom, for doing that. I love you so much. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So we get to Sweden.
We get to Sweden. Right after we get there, it's Midsummer. We celebrate Midsummer and my birthday. Awesome.
Everything they say in the movie Midsummer, it completely true. No. It's very culty.
Stop
I had to wear a bear costume. No, I'm kidding.
You were joking about that all the way up leading to the wedding. You were like, I'm going to wear a bear costume at Midsummer.
I thought it would be funny.
Because that was your first Midsummer in Sweden.
It was so much fun. Like it.
Also, wait, hold on.
Nobody parties like the Swedish people.
The fact that you going to Sweden for your wedding was also the first time ever you went to Sweden.
Yeah.
First time you met my brother.
Yeah.
First time you met the rest of my family, because you've only met my parents once.
But I feel like I knew all of them because we FaceTimed with them all the time.
You do.
Yeah. Like I felt like I knew all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
But it was just like it was such a crazy experience in a way.
Yeah. No, it was. No, it was. God. I know we're gonna get into all this, but it was like it was such an amazing trip. Like, and then like our wedding day, like,
yeah,
it was so good. Like, I used to bartend weddings. They were always chaotic. There was always something that happened. It was predicted to rain on our wedding day too. Like it was a high percentage of rain.
Yeah.
It didn't rain. It was completely blue skies. The sun was out.
It was a little bit windy, but that was
a little bit
fine.
windy, but we're on the Baltic Sea.
I love how you say a little bit. I literally had to take off my veil because it was so windy.
It was such a great. Oh yeah, I almost lost my vows. I had my vows out of my pocket, and I was going over them, and the wind blew, and Justin, I think, caught them. So, or maybe it was Tony. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I almost lost them, but.
But before the wedding, you had a bachelorette party.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So it was I'm trying to think about everything. They surprised me with like I forget the little game that your brother set up.
Also on Midsummer, when we were celebrating Midsummer, this was like a couple of days before then. Everything happened so close knit.
Yeah.
Like this event, it happened over a span of a week basically. So first it was Midsummer, my birthday. And on that, I remember you asked my grandpa if he wanted to be a part of your bachelorette party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because by the way, like I love Michelle's entire family, but I especially love her grandpa. He was the sweetest. Yeah, he was an amazing man. So I wake up to your brother and all my groomsmen. We already started drinking, like right when we woke up. They put a veil on me. They put what is it, a shag?
Bride to be, like a
bride to be thing on me, and we drove down to Stockholm. I had no idea what was going on.
We drove down to Yukon.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on, but Michael had this game set up where they would ask me a question about Michelle, and if I got it right. Or if I got it right, I got to choose either if I got like whatever type of dare, whatever punishment they had. They had like all this gross fish. They had like different types of alcohol, different weird Swedish candies to eat, like things that didn't taste great. But I forget what that fish is called that comes in a can that smells real bad.
Was it? It wasn't It wasn't tuna. It wasn't.
No, tuna's not. Tuna's good.
I know.
There's a fish that they have there that is rancid. It smells like death. It's super gross.
Oh my god, I can't think of it. I know what it's called in Swedish. It's called surströmming.
Yeah, but it's just real gross. But I only had to eat a little bit of it, but I decided.
It's not anchovies.
No, maybe it's no fish that is good. Anchovies are good. Sardines are good. Tuna's good. It's a fish that if you eat, typically people throw up from it.
It's basically rotten fish.
Yeah, but I ate the whole can because fuck them. So I ate the whole can because I only had to eat a little bit, but I decided to eat the whole can, which I thought was cool. But it was disgusting. So he had all those games set up. They would ask me a question about Michelle, and then if I got it right or wrong, they had some kind of punishment for me.
Even if you got it right?
Well, if I got it right, I got to choose my punishment. If I got it wrong, they chose my punishment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there was no win.
But it was just my groomsmen. Matt drove us down to this area, dropped us off, and then we walked.
No.
Yeah.
I drove you down. Matt's was with you. He didn't drop you off.
I thought Matt's...
No.
There were 2 cars.
Yeah, I drove you, and then I think my mom drove the other car. It was 2 vans.
Okay. I took shots like immediately when I woke up,
yeah.
So I don't really...
No, but that was the only thing that I was part of. I drove you down to the first
okay,
thing.
well, so the first event of the day, honestly, I'm like trying to remember the whole day. I kind of browned out a little bit.
You browned out?
Because I didn't completely black out. I just had momentary lapses of like losing consciousness. No, but the first event was the speedboat that your grandpa did with us, by the way, which was insane. We were going I think 80 or 90 miles on this speedboat, all of us on it.
In Stockholm City.
In Stockholm, and the seats were like saddles, like horse saddles with this metal bar you would hang on to, and you had to be really careful to not hit your teeth into them. But the driver of the boat would be going 80 miles an hour directly towards land, like a big mountain. And last second turn, it was so crazy. And your grandpa was just I remember he was sitting 2 people behind me, and he just this giant smile on his face, having the time of his life.
He loves that
your grandpa is a badass. we were all shitting our pants, and he was just the biggest smile on his face.
I feel like he's secretly an adrenaline junkie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I remember when I was younger, they were always with us going to Disneyland in Paris, going on all the rides.
Well, then we did the theme park after that, and so the theme park has they have a little gun range thing that you're shooting targets, and then there was a hanging challenge where you hang from a pole.
Also, I need to let you guys know, my grandpa was 80.
Yeah.
At this
also,
point.
He put off doing chemo because he didn't want to be sick during her wedding.
Yeah.
Which is he...
Well, he said he wanted to be himself.
Yeah. Which we're going to get in. I want to get more into that.
I'm going to be crying during that part.
Well, I want to get more into that. But so at the theme park, we had all these challenges set up, and we got grouped into teams. And her grandfather beat all of us on everything. I'm not kidding you. Even on the hanging challenge on the bar, I don't know how, but he beat us on that. And then he beat us on the the shooting range. He was a police officer in Sweden, though.
Well, he has a hunting license.
Yeah. But he beat us on that. At all of the challenges, he ended up winning. And he did all of the rides with us. There was one ride, probably the
purple one.
Yeah, one of the scariest rides at this theme park. And I'm not big on roller coasters, but everyone got me to go on it. I was pretty freaked out, and her grandpa was saying woo, going down on that thing. It was so crazy. It was wild. Yeah, your grandpa he's a madman. It was such a fun day, and we did a lot of drinking. We went to a little bar thing after that and got drinks, and then we went and had an early dinner thing at this burger place that was really good. I'm like,
you went to the Viking bar?
oh yeah. There's this Viking bar in Old Town in Stockholm that's like one of the oldest bars. There's like no lights in there. They have like torches, and everyone's dressed up in like Viking attire. The waitresses are dressed up as like beer maids, or if you would call like they were like the I don't want to call them wenches, but kind of like they were everyone was in full costume, in character.
They only serve like.
Even the bathroom was like a wooden like hole in the wall thing that you'd use. It was crazy. Yeah. But they served like the actual recipe mead that they drank back then, which was super strong. Like you have 2 glasses of that and you're like, and we've already been drinking all day. Yeah. But it was probably one of the most fun days I've ever had. Like there hasn't been really anything that's matched that.
Aw, that's
yeah.
good.
No, it was we had so much fun, and I'm like trying to remember what else we did, because I'm like,
Didn't you guys go out in the evening?
Oh yeah. But
I love how I know more about your bachelor party than you do.
Yeah, Nick really wanted to go to like a club or something, and we went to some like bar club thing. I'm not kidding you. The people at this place looked like they were 12. I was like, what the fuck are we? I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? I was like, I'm looking over a sea of drunken toddlers, and I'm like, what is? I'm like, what? Why are we here?
The drinking age in Sweden is 18, so.
I felt like I was like 78 years old there. I was like, it was super late. My back hurt. I was like, everyone's blowing vape smoke in my face. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm glad I kind of don't remember that, because I just remember being really tired. Yeah. And taking like a Red Bull vodka shot or something.
Oh, babe.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's the worst drink.
But yeah, my bachelor party was amazing. Everyone that was there was amazing. Like they went above and beyond for me, and I'm very, very grateful for all of them. And then, did we get married the next day? Or no, you had your bachelorette party the next day.
Oh, I did?
Was it the next? You had.
I don't know what day. No, I had my bachelorette party first. Cause I had my bachelorette party like right after we got back from the vacation house from Midsummer.
And I feel really bad for Michelle, because like her bachelorette party was not as cool as my bachelor party.
It wasn't.
I feel bad.
Listen. I still loved my bachelor party.
Well, yeah,
I did. I loved everybody that showed up, because it was not just my bridesmaids. It was this whole group of people that I haven't seen in years. Yeah. That's been a part of my life in some way or another. And they all showed up at my parents' house and surprised us literally the day we got back from the vacation house from Midsummer. Yeah. And I got sent up to the bathroom upstairs, and they told me to change. I had no idea what was going on. And I come down, and they had prepared this like big brunch. Like they had food, they had fruit, they had desserts, they had everything, and everyone was there, and there was balloons, and I also got a sash with the bride to be, and I got a little tiara. And it was just like so nice to see everybody and talk to everybody and catch up with everybody. Yeah,
that part of it especially, I think, like, because I was looking at everyone's stories and stuff. Yeah. That part looked really, really great. I just remember one specific video on a story of all of you guys in the party bus that showed up to pick you guys up at your parents' house. And all these girls, they're all dressed super cute. They all look really pretty in this party bus, like in the middle of the day. And they're all just sitting there, and there's just like party music playing, and you guys are all just sitting there like looking at each other. And it was like, I just have that in my head, and it was because it's like so opposite of how Michelle is. Michelle is like, you're not.
I'm not a party bus person.
No, but I thought that was funny. Like that's.
But the thing was, no, and there's a reason why that video exists. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
But it was also funny because they had all dressed up. Everybody got their own color. So someone was yellow, someone was blue, someone was purple, someone was pink. And it was really fun to see how, like, some people were duplicates because there was a lot of people. But it was just a fun concept because I love colors.
Yeah.
But then this party bus rolls up. And I'm not a party bus person at all. But, when should you ever do a party bus if not your bachelorette party?
Yeah.
You know. But I heard that it was not the party bus that they ordered. It was a different bus. Like the one that they ordered was like, you know, a bus that you can like walk in that doesn't have like full of seat. It was more like it had a few seats and you could like walk and stand in it. That was not the bus that showed up. The bus that showed up was like a Greyhound bus, like literally a long distance kind of bus that they just like ripped out all the seat in the back. And the AC wasn't working.
Oh yeah, that's what I remember too.
And it was like 95 degrees this day. It was so hot. And the back door didn't close.
That's okay. That's the video.
The back door didn't close. And every time the bus started, the music cut out. So we were sitting in this super hot bus that the music was cutting in and out, no AC, back door fully opened, that someone had to like sit and like watch the door to make sure that nobody flew out.
All of the cars in Sweden are like fuel, like the like energy efficient, where so when you stop at a light, most new cars are like that now, the engine will cut off.
Yeah.
So every time the bus stopped, the engine would cut off and the music would cut off, so they'd just be sitting there in a hot bus just staring at each other.
But we played a game which was really funny. That was like everybody joined in, and then this game went through your camera roll, and then they was like showing pictures, and you had to guess which player that this picture belonged to.
Yeah.
So we had like fun games that we were playing in the bus and stuff like that.
Can I say something? Just this is like off topic a little bit, but how you just said it was really funny. It just reminded me of how your brother talks, and like how a lot of Swedish people talk when they think something's fun. They're like, "This is really funny." They call it like they say it's funny, and I'm like, I remember talking to your brother about this. I was
you talked to my mom about that,
but also Michael, because Michael says it all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is this funny? And he was like, it's funny, like, but it's sorry, that's
you understand though what we mean.
I understand, but I think it's funny that you guys call things that are funny.
No, you think it's fun that we call things funny.
No, I think it's funny that you call fun things funny.
Well, it was funny.
It was. Okay.
It was funny.
Okay, sorry.
It wasn't fun. It was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then the bus drives us into Stockholm City, and I think at first it stops at the wrong place. So like, my maid of honor goes up to the bus driver and is like, "We didn't pay to be dropped off here. We paid to be dropped off over there." And he was like, "Well, you already been riding for an hour, and that's like the time slot that they paid for." And she was like, "Well, you were the one that like took 20 minutes to get off because you couldn't get the bus working and the door closing and everything." So there was a little bit of a dilemma, but then he eventually drove us to the place that we were going to be dropped off. And every Swedish person that's watching, we got dropped off at Medborgarplatsen. And from then, they had prepared like a scavenger hunt for me. So they had like a list of things for me to like check off, like take a photo with a dog, find a person with colored hair, like lay on your stomach in 10 different places, like a bunch of different things. And I get to choose like what to do when. And I had like a 2-hour time slot to finish everything. And then at the same time, I also had like a list of clues. Or I didn't have a list. I had Amalia was giving me clues what was going to be the next place that we were going to walk to. But it was like a fun. Yeah. I was embarrassing myself.
You talking about that, I just had like a flashback to like Michael had challenges for me.
Yeah.
Like one of the last.
Like all through the day.
Yeah. Like there was one point when we were pretty drunk after doing like the theme park.
Yeah.
One of the challenges was I had to go up to a group of Swedish people.
Yeah.
And only talk Swedish to them. And all I was saying was like, "Jag tycker om öl." Öl. Jag tycker om öl. And they're just like, okay.
They're like, okay.
And I just kept saying, "I like beer." And then I was like, "I like beer," because I didn't know what else to say to them. They thought I was crazy.
No, you were not crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. But anyways, okay, continue on your day.
And then once we're done with that, I think my dad came and picked us up. My dad came.
Didn't you guys do a boat thing?
Yes, that was in the end.
Oh, yeah.
But my dad picked us up. He drove us to Globen, where they rented a karaoke room.
Oh, yeah.
So we spent 2 hours singing karaoke, which was really fun.
I was super jealous about that.
Yeah, but you got the boat.
You got a boat and you got karaoke.
I didn't go on a speedboat, baby.
I know.
But we went to a karaoke room. We ordered food. Everybody ate a little bit because I was like, I've been doing shots all day. I need to eat. I'm not a drinker. And we were there for 2 hours. And like all through the day, some people were like leaving the group. So we got fewer and fewer people.
Mm-hmm. You know this little hair that's going in your mouth.
I know. And after the karaoke, we were like, okay, now it's like time for the next thing. And I think my dad came back again and picked us up. And oh wait, no, my dad didn't pick us up at the first time. We actually took the train. We took the subway because there's only one station. And I remember, I think we took the train. I don't remember at this point. Sorry, I'm being so floppy back and forth. But after the karaoke thing,
Being so floppy.
I'm being floppy. My dad drove us back into Stockholm City, and he dropped us off at this boat. I don't remember what is the name of it, but it's like a nightclub boat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the water, and like it's slap in the middle of Stockholm City. And at this point, I think we were only like 6 people left, 5 or 6 people left, and
Michelle was pretty tired at this point.
I was pretty tired at this point, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
We had so much fun.
Did you do that? Did you walk to, because didn't you go to that overlook?
Yes, baby.
Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna get there.
Sorry, guys.
And you're like revealing the story before I get there. You're like, literally, this is the 3rd time. You're just like, didn't you do this then? And it's
I'm
like,
sorry.
I'm gonna get there.
I just remembered it differently in my mind too. So I'm like, I'm sorry.
Calm down.
Okay.
But we were at this boat, and we were doing some drinks. They was playing like a lot of like old music, like 90s, early 2000s, late 80s, like the music that I like. So it wasn't like a nightclub. It was more like a nostalgic, good club.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had like towards the end of that night, I was sitting out like on the side of the boat. They had like a little step. You weren't really allowed to sit there, but me and my cousin Isabella was sitting there, and we were watching the sunrise or the sunset, like going down over Stockholm City. We were just sitting there talking about life for like 40 minutes. And it was really nice. And then after that, there is like, the boat is here, and then there's a big mountain right next to it, like across the road, a big mountain. And you can walk up this mountain, like there's stairs. And that mountain is a really famous overlook over Stockholm City. And
we have a picture of us together there.
Yeah.
On my Instagram, somewhere way back.
And at this point, it was like 2 a.m. And I was like, hey, the sun is going to rise. It never really set. Like, it did set. But the thing about sunrises in Sweden during the summer, or sunsets in Sweden, is that it never fully goes down. Like, it never gets pitch black.
Yeah.
It's always going to be like some kind of light coming over the horizon. It's not the sun, but... And I was like, the sun is going to start going up again at 3 a.m. So I was like, I would love to finish my bachelorette party looking at the sunrise coming up on Stockholm City, up on this mountain. And it took us like an hour to get up there because...
Everyone's wearing high heels and dresses.
Everybody is drunk in high heels and short dresses. And actually, I was wearing sneakers at this point.
Oh,
not gonna lie. I changed my shoes. We get up there and we sit there, and we're only like 4 people left at this point, and we're all sitting there, and I have photos of each and every one of us, and we look so tired, but it was such a nice moment, just watching the sunset or sunrise, watching the sunrise, And then after that, we took Ubers home. And it was nice.
Yeah, you came home late that night.
I came home early the next morning.
Yeah.
But I didn't get kidnapped. I didn't do drugs.
Thank God.
I was still in shape for the wedding. And on to the wedding.
Well, what happened after that?
After what?
After,
Nothing. It was just like a couple of days. We went back to the vacation house.
I remember the day of the wedding, you were getting pampered in the boathouse.
Yeah.
And
also the fact that like this is a very small town in Stockholm, Sweden, north of Stockholm, Sweden. It's called Öregrund, where we got married. It's a little like old fisherman town, and not a lot of places to stay. We had, I think in the vacation house, we had like 20 to 25 sleeping spots. And then we reached out to hotels and we rented rooms for certain hotels, but there's not many hotels. And this is during the high season of summer.
And then a neighbor.
So like we did all of that like 6 months before.
Yeah. And then one of the neighbors across the street let us use.
And then we have a Facebook group for everybody that lives, because the vacation house that we have, it's not in Öregrund, not in like the little town. It's 10 minutes outside, more on the countryside. And we have our own little like Facebook group for everybody that lives there. So my parents reached out there and they were like, hey, is anybody gonna have a vacant house that we can rent? So we rented also houses that had sleeping spots for all of our guests to like be able to stay. And everybody that flew in from America and drove in from all places around the world.
And then also like when I said the people that showed up for me, Bree, a photographer that I've worked with for many years, she came out.
Mark.
Mark from San Diego, which was awesome to have him there. He was like the crowd favorite, by the way.
Oh, he was.
Everybody was like, "Who is this?"
They're like, the guy in the fedora is amazing.
Yeah, which he is. Yeah, Mark's amazing.
He is.
And
I was also so proud because I was sitting with the seating chart literally the day before the wedding, and I was like, I need to make sure, because we have so many mixes of people in all ages, from all different kinds of backgrounds, speaking 2 different languages. Like some Swedish people are not that comfortable speaking English. I don't want to have them sitting all around English people, you know. But I was also like, but that's also kind of a challenge, because then they're going to be able to be forced. Like I didn't want to have people sitting in cliques either. Yeah. But I feel like the seating chart turned out so well.
Oh yeah, it was so good. Everybody, it was amazing, babe. Yeah. It was good.
But in the morning of the wedding.
Yeah, so the morning of the wedding, Michelle's getting pampered in the boathouse, getting ready, doing all that stuff. Michael and I, and some of my groomsmen, mainly Michael and I, were building the altar. Yeah. So.
Well, we built the altar the day before, but you like fixed it up.
Michael and I built it.
Yeah.
Michael and I built the altar, but we had to cover.
I didn't build it.
Yeah, Michael and I built that altar. And then we had to cover it in like flowers and plants, and it was just it, and we wanted to cover the 2x4s that we used to make it. But it took a lot longer than
but that
we
wasn't
imagined.
on the wedding, because
No.
No, because that altar was done the night before for the rehearsal dinner.
No. I didn't shower until 40 minutes before we had to go down there. We were literally working on that. That's what I'm saying is like. Up until we walked down the docks to that spot, because we had to cover that thing in bushes, and then we had to carry it down, which we put it on the back of a boat trailer, and we're all standing on the back of this boat trailer, balancing, holding this big altar, going over.
I remember seeing you guys driving down with that
like
thing.
literally maybe like 40 minutes before the wedding ceremony was starting, I was like dripped in sweat, mosquito bites all over me. I was like, I was super. I was just like so tired and out of it already by that point. Yeah. But then we showered, we started getting ready, and then me and my groomsmen walked down there. Yeah. Everybody started coming in. Everyone sat on the docks, and then
Can I just talk about me getting ready in the morning, though?
Yeah.
So me and my bridesmaids got down to the docks. We had these little boat houses on the dock, like super cute, super like, think Scandinavian. What's it called? Apelago?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's called a specific word that I always have a super hard time pronouncing. But it's basically like countryside in Sweden. It has a specific name for it, like in English.
Okay.
And we got down there, I think, at like 8 a.m. We're all coming down. I bought my bridesmaids these like kind of like terry pajama sets. So everybody was wearing terry pajamas. All the bridesmaids had I think like peach colored ones, and then I had a white one. And we were all taking photos down the dock. We had a very peaceful morning.
Yeah. Oh, and also we had to set up the karaoke machine in the barn.
Yeah.
Which was ended up being a lot more difficult than we all imagined. So we were in there setting that up and like trying to test to make sure, and we had to set up the video because there was a video that was going to play when we went up there.
Which
apparently.
I had no
which
idea.
Was which I didn't either. But they said.
But we were like taking photos. The bridesmaids did their own makeup and hair, and I have a video of me sitting by myself out on the docks like in the morning, and it's just me writing my wedding vows, because I was like, I just want to have this moment for myself. And it was really nice and peaceful because like you have the water, you hear like the water, and then you have like the birds, and you have the cows in the background. Very peaceful. And then I hear about his morning, and it's like
it wasn't that mine was stressful. It was just a lot of manual labor, which is very typical of going to Sweden. When I go to Sweden, I end up either building like a house or something, or or helping with like a car or working on a boat.
He's doing the payment of living for free at my parents' house.
Yeah. So they're just like, oh, you're gonna be here. Okay, well, we need to paint the boat. We need to
build a house.
Yeah.
We need to.
Which is I love doing all that stuff. I miss it. Because being in LA, we don't have like I don't have tools here. We don't have nowhere to put it. So it's like,
yeah. We also have nothing to like actually build. We live in an apartment. So.
Yeah. So it's, because I used to do all this stuff like growing up in Washington. So it's like when we go to Sweden, I really do love doing all that stuff. But, so yeah, we
also, can I just say this? Listen, I was like focusing on my bridesmaids that morning. Like they were doing their own makeup, we were like singing, having fun, blah blah blah. I was doing my own makeup, and 10 minutes before we were supposed to go walk down the aisle, I'm like, hey, I haven't done my hair yet. And all of my bridesmaids are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do with your hair? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I was like, it'll be fine. I'm just going to put it up in the little bun or something. And they're like, okay, what kind of bun? I was literally sitting, YouTubing how to do a messy bun, like a messy low bun. Because I had so much hair. I had so insanely much hair because I had extensions in. And it was long and it was thick and it was so warm. Honestly, I kind of regret getting that much hair for the wedding. But
you look beautiful.
Thank you, baby. But it was so funny because they were all freaking out. I was like, it will be fine. Everything. Like I was so calm for our wedding.
Yeah.
I was not stressed whatsoever because I was like, whatever happens, happens. And I feel like I'm so happy I had that mentality because I've heard so many people that were like, oh, I was so stressed on my wedding day. I didn't even enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. Like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those people looking back on that day feeling like I missed out on my own wedding because I stressed over minor things.
Yeah.
So I was just like in this insane calm state of just being like,
I remember us talking about this a little bit too. Like we wanted to be really present for every moment.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to say, like, one of my groomsmen, Nick, and then her cousin Fanny, they played the music of when everyone was walking in down the aisle, and I walked down the aisle with my mom and Ellie.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, I told you, I was like, I want you to walk down the aisle with your mom.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, that's not traditional. And I was like, no, your mom
Well, I
is
didn't
here.
say no. I didn't say no.
You said it's not tradition to do that. And I was like, why?
When you told me when you said I should do that, I was like, oh yeah, I should do that. I never was against it. I just didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Because it isn't traditional to do that. Usually the groom is down there waiting.
Yeah.
But I'm happy you said that
had...
because it was a really awesome moment. Like my mom was holding my hand, she was crying, and like it was just.
Yeah.
She was.
Because we first had the bridesmaids and groomsmen walking down the aisle, and we had one more bridesmaids than groomsmen. So one girl was walking down, or
Joseph got COVID.
One girl was walking down with two guys.
Oh yeah, Tony,
Yeah.
Which made sense. Tony was loving it, but yeah, Joseph got COVID, which was a bummer, but
yeah. And then after that, my mom and my niece, Mine, walks down the aisle. Mm-hmm. And also Michael, my brother, is walking down the aisle with Mimi in his, because she was only 5 months old. Mm-hmm. She was so tiny at this point. And he's walking down the aisle with his wife, Sarah, my sister-in-law, and their little baby, like, on his chest. Yeah. And I'm so happy that, like, they were part of it as well. Yeah. And then my mom walks down with Mina, who was 2, and she was the flower girl. So they're walking down throwing flowers. And I remember mom was telling me, she's like, Mina didn't want to throw the flowers. She wanted to keep them for herself. So she like refused to throw the flowers. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well. Yeah. And then you were walking down the aisle with your mom and Ellie, mm-hmm. which I'm also happy that we included Ellie in our wedding. Yeah. And lastly, I was walking down with my dad. And it just felt so perfect.
Yeah. No, it's so cliche to say, like, but it was such a perfect day, and like I want to get more into detail just about the specifics of that, but like it was, I thought I was gonna be more nervous than I was. I was nervous, but like I don't know. It felt like almost like a dream that you were very conscious that you were very just aware of everything that's happening. I'm going to change the word.
I can't.
But also, another reason why her grandfather didn't want to take the chemo is because he wanted to sing. Yeah. He wanted to sing during the ceremony. We
had, since we were already married, which you guys already know, we were already married from Vegas, which only a handful of people...
That hair is just going right up in there.
Only a handful of people at our wedding in Sweden knew that we were already married. Yeah. It was.
Let's wait.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, only a handful of people knew that, and also my cousin knew that, and like our wedding party, most of our wedding party knew that. But they sang an Elvis Presley song. They sang what is that song called? How? I'm trying to think. Are you saying "Time of My Life"?
No. Now you just have me thinking of that now.
Falling in love with you.
Yeah.
I can't help falling in love with you. Yeah. She was singing that song.
And my groomsman Nick was playing the guitar.
Yeah. And
it sounded so good.
And then so because we were already married, we already filed all the paperwork. We were already married in Sweden, but nobody knew about that. So we had my grandpa's brother to be the officiant at our wedding. Mm-hmm. And then my grandpa sang a song. Yeah. Which I was so...
And he's wearing his police uniform and...
Was he?
Yeah, I thought he was wearing...
No, he was wearing a suit.
Oh, was he? I thought he had his... Oh.
No, he was wearing a suit. Because I have a photo of him and Grandma.
Okay, for whatever reason, I was like imagining him in like his police like dress attire.
Yeah. No, he
was... Are you sure?
Yeah, he was wearing a suit.
Oh, okay.
But it was a blue suit, so maybe you like...
He didn't have like any like things right here? Okay, maybe I'm imagining that. But he sang beautifully. It was like, I don't know, when Michelle walked down the aisle though, like I kept
Also, I just need to talk about that, me walking down the aisle. Most of it was dogs. The last part was just like small rocks, and I was
Yeah.
walking in heels.
Yeah.
That was so hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I had my dad, he was holding me and like helping me walk, but it was so, because it was like little rocks, and then it was like the big rock that we got married on. But oh my god, that was so hard. I was like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall.
Yeah.
That was literally the only thing that I was thinking about when I was walking down the aisle. Like, I know
It was
that was the only time that I wasn't thinking about the wedding, I think, because I was just like, do not fall, do not ruin this moment.
Yeah.
Even though I
You looked so
wouldn't
beautiful,
ruin the
though.
moment though. Like,
You
if I
looked so
fall,
beautiful.
that would have been such a funny story.
Your dad had you. I saw him.
I know. But and it was also like my veil, because it was really windy, as we said before. My veil was just flying when we were walking down the aisle. And I was just like feeling my head getting like pulled back, because my veil was, I think,
Really long.
Yeah, I think it was like 8 feet long.
Yeah, it was long.
It was I made it myself. I made my dress myself.
She made her wedding dress herself.
But I made the veil, and I was like, I want a big ass veil.
Which was funny too, when she was deciding to do that. She was like, I'm gonna make all the bridesmaids dresses too, and I was like, please do not do that. I was like, please don't, please, I beg you, don't. Because I was like, if anything happens to them or nothing fits, you're gonna be stressing about fixing all their dresses. And I was like, please, like, okay, you can make your own dress, but please, God, don't make the entire bridesmaids
Also,
dresses.
about my wedding dress, I started making my wedding dress in November the year before, and I scrapped the whole concept that I was working on 2 months before the wedding. And then 1 month before the wedding, I just changed everything again and made the dress that I was actually wearing at the wedding, because I didn't like the first concept. I was supposed to have this whole beaded dress, and I was beading it myself. Not beading it, like actually making the beads.
Chill, don't hit me.
And then I realized, I was like, we're getting married outside. There's going to be grass. There's going to be the docks. There's going to be so many things that this very delicate dress is going to get stuck onto. And just the whole beaded is just going to fall out as I'm walking down the aisle. And I was like, yeah, this is not a good idea. So that's why I scrapped my whole design.
Yeah, but she was so adamant about doing the bridesmaids dresses. I was like, do not do that to yourself. I was like, this should be a fun, beautiful moment for us. I don't want you be like looking at their dresses, being like, oh no, and you just messing with their stuff the whole time.
I know. I'm happy you convinced me not to do it.
Yeah, but I'm really happy you made your dress, because you looked so beautiful. And I think I had my sunglasses on the first part of because I was worried I was gonna cry when I. But I mean, when I saw you, like, my eyes did water, but like, it was when we started reading our vows, is like, I think we both were crying like a lot.
We were. And I don't know why, but like my whole life, I've always been like, oh my God, reading your vows. I always hate public speaking, first of all. And I was like, reading my vows, that sounds like the scariest thing ever. Because what if I say something wrong? You know, you see these videos when people go, I take you to be my, what does it say?
I take you to be my lawful wedded wife.
Yeah. And I've seen so many people, when people go, I take you to be my waffly wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to be the one saying waffly.
Yeah.
But we didn't even do those vows. We wrote our own vows. But,
I think he did,
no, he
didn't ask us anything. I think he did ask us some stuff.
No, but he never like made us repeat stuff. He just said, do you take him to be your husband? And I said yes.
Okay, yeah.
It was a very simplified ceremony, which I really liked.
Well, again, like, where I grew up, I don't want to say my family is white trash, but we're pretty white trash.
You're not white trash.
My mom lives in a trailer, and my dad lives in a trailer.
You're gonna regret saying that. You're not.
I
white
love
trash.
my family. I always thought that I was gonna get married at like the donut shop or something. That's what I always pictured. But to be standing there next to the Baltic Sea, looking at you, and that's right behind you, and just like having all our loved ones there, it was such a surreal, beautiful moment that I never would have expected I would have ended up doing in my life. Like, it just just the way that I grew up and was raised, and it just didn't, that never felt like that was in my, like, in the cards for me, you know?
Yeah.
But it was just, yeah, it was like a dream. It was so crazy to think back on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice.
And
Also, just to add, my veil almost flew off, so I had to take off the veil.
yeah,
I don't know if that veil was a good choice.
I think it looked amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looked, I thought you looked beautiful.
We do have a photo, because we took photos right after the reception, after the ceremony.
Where I did
And-
Mr. Napkin Head with it. Remember I put
Yes.
the veil over my face and the glasses? Oh, that was quick.
But we actually went into the cow.
Oh, yeah, we walked
area.
around and took
And we-
photos.
Yeah. And we have this photo of us walking, and you have the veil like flowing a little bit, and we're walking hand in hand. And I love that photo.
Yeah, we got some really good photos. And then also my friend Bree, that is a photographer, we did not invite her there to take photos, but she secretly was taking...
We invited her there as a wedding guest.
Yeah, we just wanted her to be there. And she was taking photos. And
She took uncandid photos of everybody.
they were, she got so many great photos of all of us, like the entire, all the guests. And then like she had some really great photos of my mom, like just laughing. And like, it was just... The photos were amazing, so thank you so much, Bree, for doing that. And I wanted to say something, like, so typically weddings that I've gone to, people are always like, they're at the ceremony and then they're at the reception dinner, like
Yeah.
before you go to the party, and everyone's just like ready to get out of all of that.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, okay, let's start drinking and partying. Like, that's how it's always kind of felt when I've been at weddings. Like when I bartended weddings, that's what it seemed like. But everybody was so present, and like there was just so much love, like radiating off like everybody, all
Yeah.
of our guests. It was,
I know there was what I've heard afterhand. I know there was a little bit of like people were very hungry, because right after the wedding we stayed behind and we took photos where everybody else walked to the reception area, which was like a 10-minute walk.
yeah.
And my brother, I didn't know about this. Neither did you. That was a surprise. My brother was supposed to pick us up in his Rolls Royce.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce, which it didn't start.
But it didn't start. So there was a bit of a delay. And I remember we were sitting by the docks by ourselves just waiting. And we were like, what is happening? Like, what? Because we didn't even know what we were waiting for. They just told us to wait there until someone came and picked us up. And we were like, okay. And then eventually my dad came and he was like, yeah, that didn't really go as planned.
We got picked up in the van.
Yeah, we got picked up in the van. And
Which was fun. It was great.
but the thing of like things happen for a reason, because they dropped us like a 2-minute walk from the reception area, and it's like this long little country road up to the area, and you have fields on both sides. And I'm so happy that was the thing that happened instead of us driving up there, because now we have a video of us walking up to the reception area, which we used in the
intro.
Yeah.
And just everybody, like, you know when you see those damn videos on YouTube or on like on Reels or whatever, and it shows like who's waiting for you in heaven or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's when we were walking up that country road and seeing everybody sitting there. God.
Yeah. You're gonna make me cry. Jeez, babe.
It was just a really beautiful moment, you know?
Yeah.
And then just having your grandpa there was amazing.
Yeah. But on to the reception before we start crying. We had my neighbor, he has his own food truck. And I know, like, when you say food truck, it sounds very trashy. But you guys need to understand.
Per is like a 5-star chef in Sweden.
He used to work at a Michelin star restaurant. And then he quit that
And this is
him and his wife. His wife is like more of a pastry chef, I think, and then he is like.
But this isn't like a food truck that you would think that you would see in like Portland or something, or like on the side of the road.
It's a smoke truck. So the whole truck, you don't stand inside of it. It's like the whole back of the truck is just different grills. It's a smoke machine.
Yeah.
It's a big grill. Like it has so many different like elements to it.
It's like everything is super high quality and just like it.
Yeah.
But still to this day, every time we go to Sweden, we always go to really great restaurants. But like when Per cooks for us, it is out of this world. Like he is one of the best. It's some of the food I ate that he cooked is hands down some of the best food I've ever eaten.
Yeah.
Like I can't compare it to anything else.
So good food.
Other than Michelle's cooking, of course.
But so he drove down he drove up to the vacation house, and I was like, because that was one thing that I knew that I really wanted to focus on the reception. I was like, I want to have good food, and I want people to be able to have seconds if they want to. And I mean, everybody was raving about the food. We had a salmon that they smoked for 72 hours, and then we had, I don't remember what kind of meat.
Did they have like pork tenderloin or something?
I think it was
like a tenderloin or
it was some kind of meat,
or a short rib or something. I don't know. It was
good. It was some kind of meat, and it was fantastic. And then they had a potato salad, and then we had a Caesar salad. And it was so good.
Yeah. And everybody could go up and like they were just serving people like as you would walk up, you can go up there with your plate. And it was it was very simple. It wasn't like I've been to weddings where everything's like it's you have like the entree, you have like two choices, and it's like they have like a full waiter staff. And
we had an appetizer. We had Skagen toast.
Oh yeah, that which was good. And then also I love key lime pie. I love key lime pie. That's my favorite. It is my favorite. And this was kind of a surprise to me.
We didn't have a wedding cake, surprisingly.
We didn't. We had key lime pie.
Yeah.
And then we had carrot cake.
Yeah.
And
not like a carrot cake. It was like carrot dessert thingies.
Yeah. It was so good though. God, that was the best damn key lime pie I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. So I feel like
dreams about that key lime pie.
That's also like something that's out of tradition, not having a wedding cake. Like we have a photo of us cutting the key lime pie.
We don't like cake really. We don't like frosting. So I was like, if we're gonna have a dessert, can we just have something that we like? She loves carrot cake. I love key lime pie, and I'm like.
And they both tasted amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And
all through the dinner we had speeches.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I'm so happy that people recorded them. We didn't have our phones on us the whole day.
Oh no, yeah,
nice.
Yeah. We never went on our phones. I told Michelle, I was like, I really want to make this a priority, which you didn't, kind of closer to the end of the night. But I was like, I want us to be together all day. Yeah. I was like, I know people are gonna try to pull us apart, and I was like, I want you to be with me, and I want us to, if we want to go talk to a guest and like just give our time to everyone that showed up, like, can we do it together, please? Like, I just really wanted us to be together the whole time. Yeah. Which we did. We did a great job at that. Yeah. But the speeches. We had speeches, and they were all so nice. Yeah. Like, they were so nice. And my grandpa had a speech. And he sang again.
Yeah. And everybody was crying. Mm-hmm. I was crying. Everybody was crying. And I know my brother recorded most of the speeches, which I'm so happy about. And I had other wedding guests like sending me videos and photos afterwards.
Your dad's speech made me cry really hard.
Yeah.
I love your family so much.
Yeah. Your mom's speech was also very cute.
Yeah. I'm so happy that she was there too, because there was moments leading up to us going to Sweden that she kept like going back and forth on if she was gonna go.
Yeah,
and
I'm so happy she came.
Yeah, and I'm like, if anyone knows me, like I'm a mama's boy, like through and through. Like my mom's like one of my best friends, and I needed her to be there. Yeah. Like that was my only request.
We're very family oriented, both of us, which I love about you, because like you talk to your family at least once a day, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every day I'll talk to them. And we're in like group texts. Yeah. We have like 10 different group texts with different names. I don't know why. I don't know why they keep making new ones, but I talk to my mom and my sisters every day.
Yeah. I talk to my parents every morning when I drive to work. Yeah. Even if it's just like for 10 minutes, I call them. And my parents work together. So like every time that I'm going to work, they're usually leaving work together. So I always talk to them at the same time, usually. But we also have like 10 group chats with not just my parents and my brother. It's like
your aunt.
I have one with my parents and my brother. I have one with and his wife, and I have one with my aunt and her daughter, like my cousin, and then I have one with my whole like family, and then I have like we have so many group chats for so many different.
But I feel so lucky because typically when it's such a like stereotypical thing. It's just like, oh, the like you have
the in-laws.
Yeah, like that is so often.
Yeah.
You don't have a good relationship with them.
I have the best mother-in-law. Best I could ever wish for.
Yeah, my mom likes to party.
But she's the most amazing.
But I mean, like your mom and dad. I mean, when they come to visit us, they do surprise visits, by the way, to LA. They knock on our door and we're like, and then they're with us for like a week. But it's.
I love it.
I love her parents so much, and they are so fun to hang out with, and they're just easy to be around, you know? Like
they're very self-sufficient.
I love having them around, and it's like you would think, because we live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah. You would think with having all of us in this closed space that we would get sick of each other, and it's when they leave, like we're driving back home to our apartment from the airport.
That's the worst part.
I know. We're in the car so sad, and we're like, the house is gonna feel so empty, and it's like.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. Like when we left Sweden for the wedding, like once we drove your mom to the airport, it was like we went from being around so much family
for a month
to not being around everybody. Like we were sad for like weeks afterwards because we were
I felt like a little when we were dropping my mom off at the airport. I felt like my 9-year-old little self, like saying goodbye to my mom or something. That was tough, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna have another opportunity to do that with my mom.
We will figure it out.
I hope so, but I'm just saying, like, that was it almost felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
I'm gonna convince your mom to come to Sweden again.
Yeah.
My parents they're texting. Apparently my parents are texting your mom a lot.
Oh yeah.
And they're like talking about stuff, and your mom is like, I want to, because I feel also next time we go to Sweden with your mom, we need to also like go to other places.
Yeah. But we just had so much stuff planned when we were there for that month. But going back to the wedding. Yeah. Like the reception dinner, like typically people are just like, they're ready to, after you eat there, everyone's ready to get up and go drink and get out of there, you know? Yeah. And I just still, like, everybody was so present. The way that you did the assigned seating, everybody was talking and engaging. And then we had the cameras passing around, and people were...
I got little disposable cameras.
She set up at each table for people to take. So we had all these amazing photos of our guests that they were... And the people that they just met that day, and they're taking selfies with. And it was just like... Again, like... I have 2 moments in my life that truly made me believe in God, and it was the moment when my sister Leah was born. Yeah. And this day, like, and people are probably listening, and I think it's so silly that I'm saying this, but like, there was so much love, like, just present, and
it was amazing.
It was amazing. It was perfect. It was such a great day. I wish we could do that again somehow.
Yeah. But then. After the reception, we had the after party, which was in a barn right next to the reception tent.
Which this is like a community space in their neighborhood, so like you can rent this out, and this is what they use for Midsummer.
We rented the space. I'm gonna go over budget afterwards, so I'll take that after. But we rented the barn, and we did they had like speakers in there, and there was a big party going on inside, and they had prepared this video that you talked about before. Mm-hmm. And it was a video from...
Which I didn't know that was why your brother was so adamant on like setting up that video thing. And I was like, well, no, I was like, it's okay. I can kind of see the words for karaoke on this spot. And he's like, no, it needs to be better. And I'm just like, I was like, I could sing fine with what I see right now. So he was like.
Also, I'm sorry, the karaoke machine. That was the only. Andrew had 2 requests for our wedding. He wanted to wear a tux, and he wanted a karaoke machine.
Which I didn't get the tux.
He didn't get the tux.
I wanted to wear a black classic James Bond tuxedo.
Nope.
And I wanted a karaoke machine, and she was like, yeah, we could do that. And then like leading up to the wedding, she's like, can you wear a brown suit actually?
Well, black felt so out of character for the area.
I'm happy with the brown suit. I thought it was really nice.
You look amazing in that brown suit.
Yeah, it was a nice
really
suit,
nice
and I got
suit.
a fucking killer deal on it.
Yeah.
I think it was like
no, we're gonna take it off afterwards.
Okay, sorry.
Killer deal.
It was insane.
But I told him, I was like, you're getting that karaoke machine. And that karaoke machine was a hassle to get because me and my mom drove up. We drove up separate cars.
I didn't realize it was going to be that hard to get a karaoke machine in Sweden, you know?
No, but it was a whole system. That's probably going to be a weird cut, but whatever. But no, we got that karaoke machine because he said he wanted a tux and he wanted a karaoke machine. I said, tux is too rough. Can't do that. Sorry.
I like the brown though. The brown worked. Everyone looked great. It matched well with the bridesmaids' dresses because they were wearing
champagne.
Champagne.
Like a beige, and
beige.
then the groomsmen were wearing beige as well.
Yeah.
But no, to the video. They had collected a video, like they had been reaching out to people that couldn't attend. Mm-hmm.
Which was a lot of my family.
Yeah, a lot of people from Andrew's side. And they had made them record
I don't
messages
know why.
to everybody.
I don't know why, but I forgot about this so much. Like it's not like a big memory, but now when I'm thinking about it, my dad made a video, which I never would have thought he would do something like that. And then Kasha and Janie, and it was really sweet of your family to think of doing that. Yeah. Because it was really nice to see those people that I wanted to be there so badly that couldn't make it.
But it was also like people that weren't invited, and I say that not in a bad way, but like there were people that weren't invited that just had been, I know at least for me, had been part of my life. Like I had my first teacher. Yeah. From when I was 7 years old, make a video. Yeah. I was his first class, and like just to have him make a video was crazy. And I had other teachers make videos, and it was like it was just crazy to see like all these people taking their time sending little messages. I still have all those videos.
I know, we need to rewatch that.
Yeah.
We should watch that after this. I want to watch that again.
Yeah.
It was super, God, it was such a great day. Seeing a video of my dad, I never would have expected that, you know? Yeah. But that was a nice touch to everything. And then Did we do some karaoke? We did the dances after that, right?
I think so. We did the first dance.
Yeah, the first dance. Well, did you dance with your dad after our first dance?
I think so, yeah.
And then I danced with my mom after, right?
We did our first dance to the song Beyond.
Yeah, because I really like that song a lot because there's...
He also played that song to me like a few weeks into us started dating.
Yeah. It just... Because I was close with all my grandparents, but my dad's parents passed away in a car accident when I was like 10. But my mom's parents, they were really, really heavily involved in like the raising of my sisters, and they supported a lot of us, and I was just really close with my grandparents. And in
the song,
there's a part in the song where he talks about his grandmother, and he's like, I wish you could...
He said, I knew grandma would have loved you.
Yeah. And I really wish you could have met my grandparents. God damn it.
I wish so too.
They really would have loved you so much. I love you. So that's why we danced to that song.
It's also a really good song.
Yeah, it's a really good song. It's sweet. What did you dance with your dad? I forget.
I don't remember what I danced with my dad. I didn't pick the song. Someone else picked the song. It was a really nice song. I have a video of it. But
I'm trying to think of what I danced with my mom too, and I can't remember. We were just talking the whole time.
Yeah.
We were like holding each other, and she was just saying she was so proud of me, and I'm just so happy she made it to that, because that would have sucked really bad if I didn't have her there.
Yeah. It's also funny because I remember your mom went home and changed.
Yeah.
And came back and because it was a warm night, you know?
Yeah.
But she just changed into some comfier clothes and flip flops. So I know during your mother.
Yeah. Well, she still had her dress on.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was wearing that little she was wearing a dress, but she had that
she had the scarf on.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. So she still had that on, but
okay,
it was such a great, and everyone was sitting around just watching, and in the video of us dancing, and the video of you and your dad dancing, and then my mom and I, your grandparents were in the back corner just holding each other's hands, and her grandparents are so sweet together, so madly in love still after all the years that they were together. And I know we're kind of jumping into another thing, but I really want to talk about that moment that we spent that whole day with your grandparents.
Yeah.
We were at their house, and this was before the wedding.
No.
Was this?
This was right before we left.
Okay, yeah. So we wanted to just go spend the day with them.
Yeah.
And her grandfather.
It wasn't even planned to spend the day with them. I just told them, I was like, hey, I want to go and just spend time with my grandparents. You were like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, I'm gonna go buy some lunch, and we're gonna bring it to them and cook for them.
Little fika lunch thing.
Yeah, I got goulash soup, which I know they like.
Yeah. And
it's super easy to make. And then I got some pastries, because my grandparents love to fika. They love to have little coffee. Every time we went out to my grandparents' vacation house in Småland, which is where my grandma grew up. It's her parents' old farm. And every time we're out there, every 2 hours, they're like, okay, it's time for fika now again. And I'm just like, okay.
Coffee and cookies. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
But going there, we were just sitting talking, and they were telling us about how they met. Yeah. Which I've heard that story so many times, but I love hearing them talk about it.
But we heard a bunch of stories that I was like, have you ever heard this? And you didn't ever hear it before. Her grandpa was a police officer, and he was in the police choir. So he was a really good singer.
Yeah.
And he also was part of a band called Vansbro. Vansbro, or is it Vans Bros? Vansbro, right?
I think Vans Bros.
Yeah.
I think
the intro of this podcast, it's like, love is a happy thing, and happy things are happening to me, love. Yeah. So that's his band. They made that song.
That's my grandpa.
They traveled around. They traveled around a bunch of places. They had a record that they made, a bunch of great songs on it, and we were sitting there listening.
Did they open for Barbra Streisand?
They were going to. They were supposed to, but there was something like a conflict of something that happened, and then they ended up having to bow out of it or something. Yeah. But they were supposed to open for Barbra Streisand, which is crazy.
My grandpa.
Yeah, her grandpa. And so we're sitting there listening to his old records, and then as we're sitting there, so they were sitting across from us in their little living room area. They were sitting across from us like this, holding each other's hands. Michelle and I are on the other couch, sitting there kind of holding each other as well, and we're just looking into each other's eyes, and
we're all just sitting listening, because they have in their upper living room, which is called as the nice room, if you have grandparents that still live in the old houses that they moved into when they were young. Usually at that time they had a nice living room.
They built this house, by the way.
Yeah.
Her dad or her grandfather built this house with his bare hands.
And this living room is it has a bunch of like couches. They're super nice.
The most comfortable couches, they totally look like they're from the 70s. They are from the 70s.
They are from the 70s.
But they're like in perfect condition. But the most comfortable couches
They're
I
so
have ever sat in. They're like
super
little clouds.
low. You're never going to get up from them once you're sitting in them.
Yeah, you can take great naps in
But
that.
they're so comfortable. And then they have like the whole wall is just records, like vinyl records. And they have like this built-in like record player built in the bookcase, and then like they have speakers around, so you're like sitting there and like you have music playing all around you.
And so we're sitting there, and I just remember looking.
We weren't even talking, we were just sitting listening.
I always get super self-conscious saying your grandparents' names because I always ruin them, but it's Parone. So like I can never get it right.
It's okay.
Parone and Sibrit.
Yeah.
And I'm always like super self-conscious of saying it because like I have so much respect for your grandparents that I always was like, I don't want to, like, because they would say, oh, you can call them like Per or something, like.
Well, it's a PA.
Well, I'm always gonna get it wrong. Anyways, we're sitting there. I'm looking at your grandparents, and they just look so madly in love. And I'm looking at your grandpa's eyes as he's like talking, as he's listening to the music. He starts recounting when they were in the studio recording it, and he's talking about these little stories, and like you literally see everything he's saying like in his eyes.
Yeah.
And it was just such an amazing experience of like seeing these two people that have went through life and created this giant family with each other, and like we're so madly in love still.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so inspiring, you know. Like my example of true love was like my grandparents, but like they ran a business together, and they still fought, and they ended up like they didn't sleep in the same bedrooms. They loved each other, but also they had to sleep in different bedrooms because like my grandfather had like really bad asthma, and he had to run a machine at night, and so there was lots of that. But like they were my example of what true love was. They stuck it out through the hard times, and they celebrated in the good times. But like seeing your grandparents made so much sense about how you are as a person, because you're so old fashioned in the way that like you believe in true love. You believe in like working things out no matter what. And so getting that day with them, and it just, God, we're just going to cry this whole time.
I know. I'm like, hold it in.
It explains so much about how, like, you as a person, because that was the stories that you used to tell me about them, how he would be like to you when you were a little girl, he'd be like, you want to know a secret? He's like, I love your grandma.
He always told that to me and my cousins and my mom and her siblings when they were young. He was always like, hey, do you guys want to know a secret? And they were like, yeah. And he's like, I love your grandma. And they're like, that's not a secret, Dad. But it's
like, we all know that.
Yeah.
But so sitting there, like, listening to him talk about these amazing moments in his life, and then talking about when he met your grandmother and how he was madly in love with this woman that he just met. Like, that was like an unforgettable like moment in my life, and getting to just sit there and experience that with you was so like, yeah, it was just, that was such a great day that we had with them.
I didn't even want to leave. Like,
yeah,
we were there for I think 6 hours.
Yeah, it felt like time
just
stood
talking.
still.
Yeah, just talking the whole time. We were there for, yeah, I think like 6 hours. They were talking about how they built their house. They were talking about like having the kids. They were talking about going to America for touring and seeing LA and seeing San Francisco and all of this stuff. And
they lived a really incredible life together.
Yeah. And I've never seen my grandparents fight. Like, never.
Yeah. We fight all the time.
Which I know, like, it's not like they don't. I know that they don't. Like, I know it's not like they don't fight. I just know that
they never did it in front of you guys.
Well, they never did it in front of us, but also, like, I could see them bicker.
Yeah.
But it never.
I feel like that's it. You and I bicker a lot. And so that's like, I don't think it's, I don't know, I'm getting off topic here, I guess, but I'm just like, you and I are a good team. We do bicker a lot, but we always make up. And it's like, but seeing your grandparents, it's like they are the perfect couple. Like, they're just,
But that's the thing that I'm saying. Like, I can see them bickering, and I can see like my grandpa getting annoyed with my grandma, or my grandma getting annoyed with my grandpa. But I could also always see how they're just like, I love this person. Why are we fighting?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
But it explains so much of how you are as a person, because you have such a big heart, and you're always ready to work things out, and like you're very old fashioned in that sense. It's so like people your age, people even my age, it's like people are so ready to throw in the towel, you know?
Yeah.
It's like stuff gets hard and it's like, okay, it's done. And I experienced that watching my parents and watching other relationships that I've seen in my life that I thought were good at the time. People throw in the towel and give up. And it's like, I feel like you and I, like, no matter what we face, like whatever challenges we face, we're going to stick it out together because we made that commitment to each other.
And because we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you, baby.
God, I don't even know what we're going to title this video. We've been crying the whole time. But going back to the wedding, I just wanted to talk about that day. I wanted to talk about
the
that.
wedding.
So yeah, we watched that video.
Do we have much left of the wedding?
Not too much, but I mean, I want to talk about the karaoke stuff.
Yeah.
So the karaoke was awesome. I think the first song.
I'm not a karaoke person.
Which it makes me sad because Michelle has such a good voice. She would be such a good karaoke person, but she doesn't like to do it. But I'm gonna get her to do it. I mean, I've heard you sing karaoke. I got you to do it on live one time on Instagram.
Yeah. For Christmas.
Yeah, but we sang karaoke. Everyone had a great time. It was so funny because my mom kind of got a little. I mean, everyone got pretty drunk. There was lots of alcohol from Germany that we brought over the border. Yes. Thanks to Matt's. He's amazing.
That's a very good party trick for not a party trick. That's a very good.
Go to Germany because it's cheap.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it was that much cheaper because, like, how much they bought.
Yeah.
I think my dad bought alcohol for like $3,000.
Well, it was 3,000.
$3,000 for alcohol, guys.
But it lasted for quite a while.
Oh yeah, they still have wine.
Yeah.
My dad is so funny because he can, like, sometimes when I call him, he's like, "Tonight we're drinking your wedding wine."
Yeah.
Because they still have like bottles. My parents love like to not collect wine, but they do love good wines.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things about quitting drinking too, because I felt like Matt's and I, we would bond over like really good wines.
Yeah.
So like I really do miss that so much. But he's been super good about like.
They never drink. They barely drink when they're here now.
Well, now like your dad is like, he's very accommodating when we go to visit too, because he'll get like.
He gets the non-alcoholic beers.
Yeah, which I wasn't.
Which he likes.
Which I was like, I didn't want to do that at first because I was like, oh, I don't want to pretend to drink. But like when you're in a celebratory like setting with people, you really, when you're not a drinker anymore, having something that kind of tastes like a beer, because I really love the taste of beer. Like I loved it, and not just because I would get drunk from it. Like I really did enjoy the taste of it. So it's been. It helps me cope with the situation, like to have like a non-alcoholic beer or something. Like it makes that temptation of getting off the wagon easier to get through, you know. But yeah, your parents have been really great and accommodating about all that. But
yeah.
So yeah, we did the karaoke. It was awesome. But my mom got kind of tipsy, and I remember she came up to me at one point and she was like crying to me about, she's like, they don't have Betty Davis eyes on here. I can't sing Betty Davis. She really wanted it. It's like her favorite song to karaoke.
Aww.
And she was so upset about it. I'm like, Mom, I'm just sing another song. I'm sorry they don't have it. She's like, no, it's the only song I want to sing. And I felt bad that we didn't have that. But I'm trying to think of any other moments. Oh, you went off.
I did went off.
Which I did not want Michelle and I to split up at all during the wedding, but she went off with Valentina.
I went off with different people. They had like this little swing set, like a little bit further away, and not long far away. It was like how long?
Yeah, it was right next to the barn, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's because we were all singing.
It was like a little bit like you walked past the big reception tent, and then it was like behind that, so you could like see the whole area. You could see right into the barn where everybody was singing, and it was such a surreal, like, I'm a person that loves to just observe. I love observing people, and and just like stepping away from this big day and just like sitting there and watching everything. Because at first I just walked off on my own because I was like, I just need to like take it all in. And that was my way of taking it all in, by just enjoying it, seeing everybody being so happy. Like, you were seeing karaoke in the barn, everybody was dancing.
Yeah.
Like, it was a full party going on, and it was still pretty early in the evening. And then my friend Valentina comes up and she sits next to me, and we were sitting talking a little bit, and then she went back inside, and then my friend Emma came out and she was sitting there talking to me, and it was just like really nice to like just step away for a little moment. And then you were like, get your ass back in here.
Well, when I would be on the mic, which I sang, like, I felt like I sang after, like, I would let one person go, then I would go, and then I'd let one person go. I sang a lot. But there, I remember
your wedding. You were
every time I got the mic, I was like, where's Michelle? Where is she? I'm like, Michelle, get back here. But there was one moment where we sang, the guys and the girls, we did Grease.
Oh yeah, we did.
Remember it was so funny. The guys were on one side, the girls were on the other side, and we sang back and forth to each other. That was hilarious.
I was in for that.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone got video of that, because that was such a freaking funny moment.
Maybe I'm gonna go back in the Facebook group we created afterwards and see if anybody posted any of the videos for that.
Yeah,
I know I saved all the videos, but
wait, and also something that I'm really proud about myself is that, like, although I was like, I was drinking throughout the whole day.
Yeah, you weren't blacked out.
No. I was like, yeah, like I was. By the end of the night, like, I felt like I started sobering up because we stayed up to go skinny dipping or jump in the Baltic Sea. But like,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm like really, like, that was another thing. Like, I was like, I want to remember everything about our wedding. I don't want to get too drunk or anything, which I'm like proud of myself for not doing, because that was. All of my groomsmen were like, if you would have asked them, they would have been like, oh yeah, Andrew's gonna get blacked out.
Yeah.
Like, they all would have bet money on that. So I'm like really proud of myself that I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And didn't get sloppy or incoherent or anything. It was a great day.
Yeah. And then we had we served hot dogs as like a midnight snack for everybody.
Yeah.
Because like that was like a cheap
Easy.
option,
Yeah,
but
it
it
was
was
easy.
also like people been drinking, they probably need to eat something.
Nobody
more.
gave a shit what we would have handed them. Everyone was ready
No.
to eat food.
But everybody ate hot dogs, which honestly I feel like it's such a good, like, it's a good thing to have a midnight snack if you're having a wedding far into the night.
Yeah.
And then at 1 a.m. they were like, okay, everybody has to be out of the barn because of respect of neighbors and everything. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. And then most people went home, but then we were like a group of like 15 people, I think. And we all went down. We went home because the home was like on the way back to where the ceremony was.
We went to our little cabin.
We went to our little cabin, who my dad and my grandpa built 2 weeks before the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we need more sleeping spots, and Michelle and Andrew doesn't have like their own house in this.
I remember when they FaceTimed us one before we left to Sweden, and
my dad was in a cast.
Yeah, he messed his shoulder up.
He has done surgery on his shoulder, so he was in a cast. And then my grandpa had just been diagnosed with cancer, and they're both just sitting on this
the roof, like hammering and screwing stuff in. And we're talking to Michelle's mom, and we see all of them in the background. And I'm like, is your dad on the roof right now talking to Marie, your mom?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Michelle's grandpa's on the roof right now. I was like, what the hell?
And it was my dad, my grandpa, and then my brother Michael, and they were all just sitting on the roof, like building this little cabin. And we were like, you guys are insane.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate you, but you're insane.
It was awesome.
But we went back. We like changed into like comfy clothes.
Well, oh wait, after we went jumping in the ocean?
No, like that.
Because I jumped.
You changed into swim trunks.
Yeah.
And like a sweater, and I changed into like, I had bikini on, but I put on like pajamas.
Yeah.
And then we all met up like outside the cabin, and we all went down to the
Nick was down there playing Twister with
some neighbors,
some other group of people on the dock.
Yeah.
Like, it was so, we were like, what the hell are we? And they were playing beer pong on the dock too.
Yeah.
So it was like we walked into like a whole other party.
Yeah.
And
you took a swim, right?
yeah, I jumped in. It was it wasn't it wasn't that cold. I'm trying to remember.
I have a video of Adam jumping in, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's so fucking cold." It's such a funny video.
Maybe it was cold. I can't really remember that part.
It was cold. I dipped my toes, and I was like, "No, I'm not going in."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was.
And I think Marciano jumped in too.
Yeah. It's so funny because that was the first time that I met Marciano. At our wedding.
Yeah.
And because a couple months before, we met up with Hannah and had lunch with her in like on Melrose or something.
Yeah.
And so I knew Hannah prior to that. Hannah's who Michelle has a podcast with that's in Swedish, almost American. Little plug there for you guys.
Thank you.
And but yeah, I met Marciano for the first time at my wedding.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get to talk to him much. But it's just so funny because now like him and I are good friends, and like we did a short film together, and
he was at your wedding.
Yeah, and that was the first time I met him at my wedding, which is funny.
That was the first time I met him too.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny, and then the sun was like coming up.
It was so
over
beautiful.
to see, like it was such a surreal like view.
Yeah. That's it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in the world, is
It's
that
really
little
magical.
spot right there.
Yeah.
And like, because your brother was married there, because we got married there, because there's just so much history with your family going to
Yeah.
that dock. It's like, it feels like you're at somewhere holy when you
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah, it does. It's really nice. And that was the end of the night. I think we went to bed at like 3:30, 4 a.m.
Yeah. And we were like, I remember laying in bed with you, and we were just like,
We were just giggling. We were just so happy.
Yeah, like
at that point, we weren't drinking either. Like
Yeah.
once we left the wedding venue and went down to docks, we stopped drinking.
Yeah. I was drinking. I made it a point too to drink water in between every
Yeah.
like any type of alcohol drink I had. I had water in between
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, by that time when we were laying in bed, like
We were sober,
Yeah, I
basically.
felt really good and
Just happy.
yeah, it was an amazing day.
And then after that, we spent 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks in Sweden, just basically having our honeymoon.
Yeah, with my mom there.
Yeah, and my parents.
Yeah,
My
we
whole
went
family.
to a lot of museums. We went.
It was funny because a lot of people were like, "You're gonna have your honeymoon with your family," and we're like, "Yeah, we
Yeah.
love our family."
Yeah. No, it was. I wouldn't have changed a single thing about any of it.
Yeah.
If anything, I could have stayed longer, but we did a lot of cool things. We went to like we went to like that Viking castle.
We went to the Swedish castle.
Yeah. I mean, we did
Well,
so many
first
things.
we did like sightseeing in
Stockholm.
Stockholm with your dad's brother.
Yeah.
And your mom
Christoph.
and his wife. We went to the Swedish castle. We went to Old Town. We went to the Viking bar because I had never been there.
Yeah. It was so. God, that place is so cool. I now going there, I can't drink the mead, but I wonder if they have anything else that's like non-alcoholic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We
But
don't
that
know.
mead was so damn good. I can't go back. I'll be too tempted to have it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, baby.
Um.
And then after that, we drove down to Småland.
Yeah.
We drove down to my grandparents' vacation house, and we stayed there for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Which that place has so much history. Like the living room has it's like set up how it was when her grandmother grew up there.
No, literally, it was from like when my grandmother's parents grew up there.
Yeah.
Like it's been in my grandma's family for so long, that house.
Yeah.
And it's a huge house on a big, like, it's a big farm, and it has this big farmhouse. It has like a little boat house, we call it. It's a guest house. It has like all these old like houses from when they had chickens.
Yeah. There's so much. You feel the history in that
Yeah.
place, and it's like, my mom was kind of like, she slept down in the living room, and my mom was kind of like spooked out a little bit because there's like it
It is almost a little bit spooky. Like I'm scared of the attic.
Yeah, like, well, it's
Attic.
just there's like a heaviness to the air, but
Yeah.
but knowing your
Like
grandmother,
the nights are a little bit spooky, but the days
it's an old
are,
house, you can hear everything creaking and stuff,
yeah.
but
I fully believe that it was haunted when I was little.
or there might be spirits there, I don't know. It's just it's
There
a
is
very
spirits there.
it's a very old
100%.
house, but that was so much fun. And then we did the mine. That's not too far away, which my mom was gonna do with us, but as we were walking down this tunnel and you're going deeper and deeper into this mountain, the tunnel gets smaller and smaller, and then you start crouching. My mom's super afraid of heights and super claustrophobic, and we're like walking down the mine shaft area, and like the tunnel gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and like my mom is super afraid of heights, super claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And she was gonna do it at first, but as we
the
got deeper and the hole got smaller, the tunnel got smaller, she was like, she
Yeah.
backed up. She
She
started
made
freaking
it like
out.
halfway.
Yeah, she was like, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then so she ended up heading back. We headed in. I'm not like afraid of that really, but I kind of was like, as the air gets heavier and colder, and
Yeah,
the
it is
freaking
cold
the
in there.
tunnel gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're like, you go in like it felt like a mile we went in.
Yeah, it is a mile.
And then you get in there, and it opens up to this big cavern, and there's water, and then there's all these wooden stair shafts that go everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's like all these little tunnels that sprawl out for miles and miles throughout the mountain. It's kind of creepy a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful. It felt like we were
And
traveling
like it's
in
safe.
Lord of the
like,
Rings or something.
Yeah, and it's safe. Like
Well, as long as there's not an earthquake,
you're
it's safe.
like, well, we don't really have earthquakes in Sweden.
I'm just saying if there wasn't.
But I think like the age to be able to go inside is like 6 years. So like you're safe to go in.
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as Mother Nature doesn't have a say in it, you know.
Fair.
But yeah, it was a really, really cool experience. What was the mountain called?
Kleva Gruva.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I remember going there with my grandparents when I was little, and they were talking about how the mountain trolls lived in there, and it was like all these stories that my grandpa would tell.
The Troll King.
Yeah.
Because once you get into a certain point, they made this big troll figure out of like wood and different scraps, and he's sitting on a throne, and he's
No,
like,
it's not. It's just a throne.
oh yeah,
It's just a throne.
Why
Like,
did I
that's-
remember that differently? Yeah, it's an empty throne.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh, watch out so he doesn't come back.
Yeah, like where is he?
And they had this one area that was like, it was because you had flashlights, like there were lights inside, and you have like little holes from the outside peeking in with like natural light. But there was
But not a lot of those. There was
No.
barely any of those.
But it was one part when you were just walking and it was pitch black. So the only light you had was from your flashlight. And there was at one point we turned the lights off and it was just pitch black.
Yeah.
And you could almost like hear, like it sounded like something was like coming up behind you, or like, because it was like echoing with the footsteps.
Yeah.
So like,
It's crazy when there's like no light source, because like people don't. I don't feel like it's a common thing to experience when
Yeah.
you live in like a city or just anywhere with lights. There's always some kind of source of light. So when
Yeah.
you're like in complete darkness, it's just a weird feeling.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But then like you have to go up all these stairs. Like you basically walk up to the top of the mine basically, and then it leads out, and you get out in this like forest.
There was summer berries everywhere and like.
No, there were blueberries
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, blueberries.
It was blueberries everywhere. Like Swedish blueberries are much tinier, and you
Yeah.
get really purple on your hands when you eat them.
Yeah.
But it was just like so nice to like, and it got so warm instantly when we got out. It got so
Yeah.
warm.
It was so cold in the cave.
Yeah. But it was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see
Yeah.
and do. And then after that, we went to Oland. We drove down to Oland, which is my
Lopez.
well, it was my dad's parents' vacation house, and then he bought it from them. And it's like this.
It's a very
little-
flat. It's like if you've ever been to Sweden, it's like there's lots of trees and forests, but this area.
Well, Öland is one of the two big islands that Sweden, like that's you can go to from Sweden. Sweden has 72,000 islands. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Sweden is the country with the most islands in the whole world.
Interesting.
Because like all of Stockholm is built on islands, so Sweden has so many islands. But the two biggest one is Öland and Gotland. And Öland you can drive out to on a bridge. Yeah. Gotland is too far away.
But Öland,
yeah.
it reminds me a lot of like, I know this sounds bad, but like Miami Beach, because it's really flat. And then the sand is really fine and the water is very warm during the summer.
Yeah.
Very salty.
Think Miami Beach countryside.
Yeah, like so yeah.
There's no high buildings.
Take away the rollerbladers, take away the buildings. It's like windmills from like hundreds of years ago that they still maintained, and then lots of what they call loppies, was like Loppies is like garage sales or like little markets that people set up out of their garages or their houses. And so you're driving and we're like, you see these, it's like every 30 feet, it's like a windmill.
It's like farmland.
And you see these old stone fencings that like go everywhere that literally were set up hundreds of years ago.
They have Viking graves all over the place because this is like a place that Vikings lived.
Settled at,
Yeah. We visited this old Viking village.
That was the castle village thing, right? Where you went in and
it's
they
not
had...
a castle. It was just like, it was a village that had a big wall around it.
It's like a castle wall around it. And then in the center of it, it's like all these little like huts kind of type things, like little cabin type things made out of wood and mud and stuff. Like it's but it's like this is all from like how long ago was that? It was like
a long time ago. Yeah,
it's crazy how they maintain it. Like
I want to say like the 1300.
There was one side of the wall though completely blown out. Like I think from, I don't know, it was just like all busted down. But it was it's crazy. It's super crazy.
But like that's the kind of place that like they had this one area where it was just like you were driving down the road and then you get up and there's this big like, I want to say like cabinet or something like on the countryside road. And it was just like fresh veggies and eggs. And there was a little box next to it that like you put money in the box and then you just open the cabinet and take, like you could just open and take it, but like you don't do that.
Yeah, nobody
like,
does that.
You pay for the, like, here's fresh veggies from my farm.
It's so...
Buy some.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Super, super quaint little island. I love it.
I want to have a farm. I want to have a farm one day. I want to have horses and chickens and the whole thing, the whole shebang.
I know.
I at some point when we become, like, when we're both, like, pretty settled in our careers and like we can live wherever we need, it would be really cool.
But it's hard to have a farm if we want to be flying back and forth.
We can have people take care of it.
Okay.
We can create jobs.
Okay.
I want a farm.
Okay, baby. But we went out there. Andrew killed my aunt's lavender flowers.
Yeah. On accident, because Matt and I were doing yard work out there. He was mowing the lawns and I was weed whacking around all the bushes and fences, and I didn't know it was lavender, so I destroyed that.
We still haven't recovered from that.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry, Anne.
and then we had the day with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fully count that. Like, yes, that was technically our honeymoon, but I still feel like we should, in the next, like, 5 years, put together a honeymoon.
We will. We'll do a trip. I feel like just every time we have an opportunity to travel, we want to see our family. So it's like, but I think eventually we'll do something, just you and me, for a little bit. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, we talked about that whole trip, majority of everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there anything that you would want to do differently or wish we had added to the day?
There literally is nothing. I mean, if I had to change one thing, it would have been nice to have my sisters there.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was perfect, you know?
Yeah. I kind of wish that, one thing I do miss is I wish that because we have like the video messages from everybody that didn't attend. I wish we would have done like short little video messages from everybody that was there, because it would just be really nice to have.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have my dad there too.
Oh yeah, of course. I wish your whole family.
Yeah,
was
but
there.
it's kind of weird for him about traveling because he's like, he traveled to Spokane when he was 19 with his family from Poland, and they came in on like an open-ended green card because of like it was like the Reagan administration. So his green card is literally a picture of him when he's like 18 or 19, and he hasn't done anything different. He hasn't like renewed it, but it's like
because I know we were talking about getting him his citizenship before the wedding. And
but he's just like he's so stubborn. But it would be I wish he could get his passport so he
would love to go to Sweden.
Yeah, just to see all your dad's.
Go to the car meetings.
Yeah. He would love to like see your dad's garage and like work on a car with them or something. He would. That's my dad's jam because my dad's a mechanic. But
yeah.
What else? I think that's our Swedish wedding trip.
Yeah.
You know?
And the things too, like I want to talk budget because what is
There's a fly right there.
Fly?
It's like a little fruit fly. Just blow. Yeah.
Sorry. I do want to be transparent with our budget because like having a wedding in Sweden.
It was. Traveling there was the most expensive thing.
Yeah.
Michelle made her dress.
Yeah.
So material, which she
I
got
made my dress.
from like
I
the
think
fashion.
It was like $200.
I found a place called Hollywood Suits.
Yeah.
And I literally got everything. I think was like $120 or something.
Oh, it was yeah.
It was like $120
for the suit with like the shirt underneath, the tie, matching socks, and also to get the suit altered.
Yeah.
It was $120.
Yeah, it was insane how cheap it was.
Cheap.
And it was like good material. Everything was good. It's better than most suits that if you found a suit at like Zara or something.
Yeah.
Like it was like really good material and like made in-house. But
yeah, like it's gonna last for a long time. And then I think the most expensive thing was the food.
Yeah.
That was.
And the alcohol. The alcohol was $3,000.
Yeah. But then it was like I think our party tent was like
the karaoke machine too.
The karaoke machine was like $500, $300, I think. And then the party tent was like $1,000. The whole like area where we set up the party tent, like
the barn and stuff.
The barn and the whole like reception area where we put the tent up, that was $50.
Yeah. Yep.
$50.
Yeah.
And that included chair, that included the sound system for the music in the barn, that included the kitchen in the barn, that included chairs, and then like the whole land of where we set up the whole reception tent.
Yeah.
And then the ceremony where we got married.
Down by the docks.
Down by the docks, by the rocks.
Because the boathouse too.
We got to borrow the boathouse for free from a person that lives there and owned the house, and then we got to lend that area because nobody technically owns that land by the docks. That's just like a communal space, and Sweden has allemansrätten, which means that you're allowed to be on land that you do not own. So that was free. We just make sure that we like reached out to everybody in that area. We were like, hey, is it okay if we have our wedding here this time, this day? And everybody was like, yeah, of course.
But it's like if you go and look at our social, like our Instagrams or anything, and you see the photos of this wedding, you would think that we spent
money.
An ungodly amount of money on this, and we didn't.
We did not.
And I'm gonna go back to this. Like, I bartended a lot of weddings, a lot of big event spaces, a lot of beautiful weddings, but none of these compared to ours. And I know that sounds, people will be like, oh, it's biased because it's your wedding. Take that out of the equation. Like, this location, the people, the food, the drinks, it was amazing.
Yeah. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And it was like so close to nature, which I knew that I was like, this is one of the things that I wanted.
Yeah.
And then Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm so happy that's like all our guests also was so like either they stayed the night or they went back home. Like it's a 2-hour drive to Stockholm, so some people did go home after.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the people that came for me, I mean, the groomsmen were staying with us.
Yeah.
My uncle and aunt, they planned a whole trip for this wedding. So they didn't they came for the wedding, but then they planned all these other things that they were doing around Europe.
They stayed in a little fisherman town.
Yeah, and
the
they had other things planned in Europe. And then Mark, who came, he came with his mom and his sister, and his mom and his sister were, I think, were in the fisherman town. So I told him, I was like, they could come, but he was like, no, it's okay, they're doing their own thing. But he met back up with them, and then they went off and did some other stuff in Europe.
Yeah.
So, and I think Bree as well. I think she had met up with a friend or something, and also did some stuff. So thankfully these people didn't just come out and then fly back to LA. They planned a trip out of it.
Yeah. Which
is good, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's a big thing to ask of anyone. So like, very appreciative of the groomsmen and your bridesmaids, everyone that flew out there for us. Like, thank you so goddamn much. We so appreciate it because you made the wedding as special as it was. Just everyone that attended, like, thank you so much.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if we should expose ourselves here.
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, we're not exposing ourselves. Thank you.
We didn't write thank you cards.
We didn't write thank you cards. And it's not like we didn't want to. I had this whole thing planned, but then we kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I'm just like, is it too late now, 2 years later, to write thank you cards? I feel like maybe I should just do it. Better late than never.
I think we should.
Please comment below.
My agent Joanne, she didn't come to the wedding, but when we got home, she bought a bunch of stuff for us from the what is the thing called?
The registry.
The registry. A bunch of things that like we still use to this day. Like, she got us this really cool record player. But thank you, Joanne, for not only getting me all the work that I'm doing, but because for those gifts that you sent us, and for being so supportive of Michelle and I. We love you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we pretty much.
Let me know. Comment below if I should send out thank you
cards. They're all
gonna
say yeah. Everyone's gonna be like, yeah, you should.
I know.
Maybe let's think about it for another 2 years.
God.
So yeah, in other news.
Yeah. Other news.
I don't know if anyone's gonna hold on this long in the video, because we've been going for like 2 hours, but
yeah,
I'm playing Zadist in the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and I'm beyond excited and honored and just so grateful for the opportunity. It's been kind of a crazy couple months. I spoke to Allie Whitaker at Passion Flicks and asked what I could talk about, and she kind of told me not much. So I don't want to give any spoilers. We
do want to do another episode once you come back from filming.
Yeah. Once I get back from filming. But again, I have to like check with them because I don't want to like leak anything I'm not supposed to. But she said I can kind of talk about the casting process. Like, I auditioned for Zadist in the end of May, right before, literally
before we left for Sweden.
Yeah, like
it was either end of May or beginning of June.
Yeah, so like once they sent that open casting call, and
ooh.
Sorry, we had people walk in here. They're probably not happy with us.
Okay.
So they sent out that casting call like a couple days before we were about to leave for Sweden.
Yeah.
And as soon as it came out, started working on the Zadist audition, sent that video in. Tosca and everybody messaged me, and they were like, oh my God, we loved it. And then I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And
just quiet.
Which I was just like losing my mind over, because like I don't think I've ever wanted a part as bad as this. Like, Michelle can vouch for me that like this is all I was talking about. Like I read the first book, and then I did the audition, and then I just kept reading the books without knowing if I booked it or not. And then they did that Instagram live video, J.R. Ward and Tosca, while we were in Sweden. And they said J.R. Ward's like, they announced that they cast one role, and it was J.R. Ward's favorite brother, which everyone knows that's a fan and who's been following her since 2003, or like when the books first originally came out. Everyone knew that Zadis was her favorite brother, and so I instantly was like...
He woke me up at like 6 a.m. in Sweden. He's like, I didn't get it. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, they posted this interview.
Oh, yeah, I watched it.
And they said that they already casted this person, and I didn't get it. And I was like, I'm sorry, baby. I know how much this meant to you.
And like, I've gotten really good at like, I do an audition and I forget about it. I don't marinate in it. I just forget it. And I'm like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. This was like, I felt like when you had your first girlfriend and they broke up with you, like you feel like you have a hole in your chest and you're like, can't sleep at night, and you're so sad. And this is, I kept telling Michelle, I was like, why do I feel this sad? I was like, why am I this upset? I was like, it wasn't meant to be. But I couldn't let it go. And I kept reading the books, and I kind of, in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to keep doing research on Zadis. Like, I want to learn more about him. So luckily I kept doing all of that. And then I find out beginning of August that I did book it. And I just remember being like, my mind was blown. I was like, whoa. I was so sad for so long and so confused. I'm over the moon about it. And I know how important and beloved this character is to the fans. And I promise you, I am going to give every ounce of my soul and heart to this character. And I promise you, I'm gonna do it justice. Yeah. So.
And you fly out to film in
I don't know if we could talk about that. I love you.
Oh. We don't know when he flies out yet.
No, it's gonna be soon. But
okay. Well, I don't even think, because like when we're filming this, I don't even think it's gonna be accurate.
It just doesn't matter. We can't talk about that. I love you.
We're not talking.
That's pretty much. This is pretty much all I can talk about. But I'm very excited. I think you guys are gonna be. I wanted to say one thing. J.R. Ward and Tosca talked about this. They just did an Instagram live. This podcast. This episode is gonna come out on Wednesday. So what I'm referencing came out Friday.
Yeah. So
they kind of talked about this. A lot of people are being like, okay, well, Zadist and Fury are twins. Like, they're supposed to be identical twins. And I understand what you guys mean by this. And they did talk about me playing Fury as well. But I think it would have just been we decided like that it would just be better to have two different people play these characters. I think it would be an injustice to the characters because they are so wildly different.
Yeah.
And I understand that they're identical twins, but they were brought up so differently. Like, I mean, Zadist was a blood slave, and he was held captive for roughly a century. So, like, he was malnourished, he was physically and mentally abused. I just don't even think he would be physically similar to Fury in any way, shape, or form. I mean, they kind of say that in the book, like he's a lot skinnier, and I mean, he doesn't feed off his species, so he eats apples and feeds off humans, so he's not getting the proper nutrition that he needs anyways. But like, I don't want to. I know twins. I don't know if this is appropriate to talk about.
I don't know either. I don't know what you're going to talk about. You know twins?
Well, I mean, sorry, Joseph. I love you to death. Joseph is one of our good friends, and he's a great actor.
You're talking about two different things now.
Well, I just want to bring this up as a point. Is like our friend Joseph.
But he's not an identical twin, babe.
Yeah, they're identical twins.
Oh, they are?
Yes, him and his brother are identical twins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And And
I thought they were just like twins, but not identical.
No. They're identical twins.
Okay.
And our friend Joseph, he got cancer when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And his brother didn't get cancer, and they don't look like there's little similarities, but his brother is way bigger than him.
They look like they're siblings.
Yeah,
they have very close similarity as twins, but they do not look identical.
Yeah, but because
And I
of
think that's what you're trying to say.
Joseph having to experience that awful thing as a child, it definitely stunted his growth in that sense. And I'm sorry, Joseph, for even comparing this awful thing that happened to you to this part. But what I'm trying to get at is, I think Fury and Zeta's upbringings were so drastically different that it's like, I don't think they're gonna look completely identical. And the guy that's playing Fury, Zach, we have very, very similar bone structure. So I think they did a fantastic job at casting him.
I'm sorry. You guys have very similar, like, favorites well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was, like, referencing...
Tommy Boy?
Yeah, Tommy Boy, which he did quote, which, like, all of Chris Farley's movies are, like, my favorite. But Tommy Boy is one of my favorites, which was hilarious. But no, I mean, I think this was for the best, and I think it's really going to... It's just going to bring so much more depth to each character. Yeah. And it's like, yes, they could have had one person playing both characters, but it's like Fury's built different. And it's like, yeah, we can go change the makeup and the hair and go back and forth, but like realistically, Zeta should be a lot leaner, and Fury needs to be more robust and like physically he's just healthier.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, I think this was a really good move on their part, and this gives me to where I can focus more on Zadist, and I think it's going to be really, really good, and I'm honored to be a part of this amazing book series, and yeah, it's a dream come true.
I'm super excited for you.
I love you.
I love you, baby.
I couldn't have done it without her, by the way. She's helped me so much. So
It just makes me think about like all the times that we were doing auditions.
yeah,
For not just this, but just like for everything. And like we fought so many times, but we also laughed so many times.
Yeah.
We did one audition in Sweden, and that was when I pulled my name is Jeff.
yeah.
And we were just laughing for weeks and weeks.
Just randomly she said that, and it was so funny. That's what's funny is like that's probably what we bicker the most about is when I get like a last minute audition, and like I'm just like, please can you help me with this? But
and on that note, we need to do more auditions.
Yeah, I have another audition for SWAT that I need to do today.
Whee!
Yay! Yeah, we can't forget. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else. We've been talking for 2 hours? Hopefully people listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should.
If you made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys. I mean, this is the 3rd episode. We have so much more things to talk about. We're going to get deeper, more into our relationship. We will. We're going to eventually have to, but...
And we will. We're just like, we're easing into it. We're trying to do it as, I want to say, natural as possible.
Yeah.
We don't just want to be like, this is about us. And this is like...
Here's all my childhood trauma. I'm a child of divorce. I don't...
But it's just grow with us.
Yeah. And these are things that we want to talk about. Because just sitting here talking about our wedding, I remembered so many things that I forgot about, and I'm just... Yeah, this is really for Michelle and I think.
Yeah.
But
we're happy you guys want to be a part of it, but this is ultimately for you and I.
Yeah.
And it will be so much fun if you guys follow along through all the episodes that we're going to be releasing, and you will get to know us more and more. We will get more personal as much as we feel comfortable with sharing.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
Everything will be linked below.
There's a fly that's following me right now.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.